This conference will now be recorded.
We're good.
Great. I'd like to welcome everybody to our mayor and council workshop. Start out with citizens' comment.
Sure, we have two.
Two? Oh, we have two, okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying, wow, we got company. David Bell?
I guess that would be.
And then you can come on up if you want.
And now I'm like,
Okay.
I'm David Bell. I'm from, I live at 22 St. Paul Street. And I wanted to bring to the mayor and council's attention something which I know they're aware of, but my continuing concerns about it, 21 St. Paul Street. The owners purchased it in November of 2021 and they did some demo work inside. And then last fall, they moved a travel trailer, an RV, into the backyard. And they've been living in there ever since. And pretty much the neighbors and I didn't have any problems with it. But then starting in Memorial Day of this year, when he was out there with a bobcat at 7 a.m. in the morning and was, which on Memorial Day, so it was a Monday, it was before construction hours, and he was making a lot of noise on a holiday. So, and I've talked to some other people who back up to it because they live on Lincoln Avenue and the alley goes up through and their backyard of 21 is in that area too. So I've talked to some other people who have concerns about, living in a trailer and in an RV in someone's backyard. And some of the neighbors on St. Paul Street and I have been talking recently because the one woman mows back there for her property and her neighbor's property. And she said the smell of sewage is sometimes overwhelming because I believe that at some point they are using I don't know how to describe it, but they're like catch basins. And then after they get to a point, they will empty them somewhere else. So I was looking at the ordinances for the town, the zoning ordinances, and it says for an accessory use, travel trailer and boat storage can be accessory uses for someone's property, provided that such stored vehicles shall not be occupied or used for dwelling purposes and shall not be located in the front or side yard areas. So to me, that says that it's clearly not allowed. I know that you've received comments from neighbors on both sides of the property. And I'm just wondering how long these people are going to be allowed to live in an RV in this. I mean, it's right up, it's a straight shot from the town hall.
And I did look at that ordinance, and David had sent it to me, or me did. And it does say side yards or front yard, it doesn't say backyard, which that's kind of a technicality, but that is what the ordinance says. But besides that, I did walk up there one day, and they do have, I think he called it a catch basin. They have like a typical, I guess it's an RV thing. If you go to an RV park and they don't have a hookup, it's kind of a thing about as big as that desk, not as deep, but about that surface. And you pump your sewage into it, and it's got big wheels on it, and you hook it up and throw it away. So I didn't see anything in the particular ordinance about that other than it's annoying.
Well, there is a county ordinance, and we follow the
Oh,
county
right.
ordinances.
Right.
Yeah, I know we looked this up, and I can't find it on my phone right at the minute, but I know we had it in email that they're not allowed to live more than whatever days, you know what I mean?
Okay, let's do this.
So we're gonna need to pull that up and send them, written notice that they can't do that, that they're gonna have to make other arrangements.
Have they been consistently in there? It's not,
Yeah.
it's true that they, if it's not a temporary thing and they come back, multiple temporary dwelling, it's just, they occupy the whole
They've
day.
been there since the fall of last year. how they lived in that through the winter. I mean, I know we had a mild winter, but we did have a few days. I think Christmas Day was like 3 degrees. So how they lived back there in the winter, I don't know. I guess maybe an RV, some of them maybe have heat sources.
Yeah, they'll have heating and propane, electricity and.
Yeah, and they, I mean, they've created their own little trailer park back there. They built a retaining wall, they have a patio, they have lawn chairs. I mean, it's just their little, yeah, and so as opposed to, I mean, they can do whatever they want. I mean, it's not my business as far as how they spend their money, but building a retaining wall, I think they should have been working on getting the house back in order so they can move in the house instead of, just, and they've told some of the neighbors that, we're gonna have it done soon, which is sort of the story that we're hearing from 50 St. Paul Street, which I won't even get into this evening. But also, they say that they're going to have it done and they're actually, we've heard that they're gonna rent it out and still live in the trailer. We've heard that they are going to move into the house once it's finished. And if you look in the windows, you will see that that will be a long time coming. But I think the woman said that she was going to use the trailer as her office space. So, I mean, the story, evolves and shifts and changes. And, I just don't think, it's a drag on the whole neighborhood. 15 and 17 St. Paul Street, they just did fabulous renovations on it. They're trying to rent out 17. And who would want to rent that and have your backyard fronting a RV and, sewage basins? So, I mean, to me, it's clear, and you say that Washington County.
Yeah, we
So,
adopt
I mean,
Washington County
it-
ordinances for anything that we don't have specific ordinances for, and I know I looked it up when this was an issue back in May. And I'm trying to still find where it's at,
Yeah, I
but,
looked up the property across the street from you. They
Well,
want
yeah, I'm sure you find it in the
$200
county
a month for
ordinance,
renting.
but,
That's the one.
Yeah.
The
It's
two,
right next to
yeah,
it.
17 is past the final inspection. 15 they're still working on, but both of those are owned by 23 St. Paul.
So I'm glad you-
23.
I talked to him, when was that? It was
it's Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend. Coming down and they said that they were going to, a lot of work to do inside the house. He's doing it all by himself, supposedly. And I said, well, you can't really be living in that trailer. He said, well, he explained to me that they used to live down Baltimore way or something, and then he would drive 40 miles to his house. 40 miles to his job, then he'd drive up here and work on that, and then he'd go back home. And of course, I'm thinking to myself, that's not my problem. But I thought, well, how long you gonna be? And he said maybe a couple more months. Then I find out, we get another email saying that there's sewage, the thing that you all talked about. So I actually said, asked one of our police to go down there and check it out. The retaining wall, you can't do it, you really don't need a permit. I did find out. And
3 feet, although I believe that after he was inspected, he added another course of bricks.
how much is it?
3 feet you're allowed without a permit.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
And to me, because that's part of our normal walk, we walk in the morning and we walk at lunchtime,
Okay,
trying to,
well, I've heard,
prevent old age. But that's one of our typical walks in the afternoon, and to me, it looks like they added another course of bricks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a minor concern. Our real concern as the neighborhood, of St. Paul Street, like I said, I've talked to Lincoln Avenue residents, is the fact that, it's just a drag on the neighborhood. And no one said anything from November until May, when he's out there with the Bobcat. You know, on Memorial Day, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. So, people, realize that, okay, maybe he bit off more than he can chew, although I heard him talking to his real estate agent, and he said, are you getting an inspection? And he said, no, I know exactly what's wrong with it, and I know how to fix it. Well, he came in and did Great Guns demo in the front log cabin portion of it, and then just left the drywall and everything, or everything that was there. And just last Monday, where I believe it's when you said somebody had the police go up there, then we're watering the lawn in the evening and we see that he's carrying stuff out through the front door. So I'm like, well, maybe this has finally pushed him to actually do something on the inside, but that was the end. It's been no more.
They said that they could live in it, but they still have the bathroom. I think they got to finish up the bathroom. If they can move in. She said something to me about using the RV as an office for her job. I said, can't do that. Can't do that. And,
Well, I know they're doing bathroom work, are permits needed? The property has no permits.
Unless you're changing, this is my understanding, unless you're changing the plumbing or electrical or,
The
structural
footprint.
remodel, replace things without.
they,
You can get new toilets, new bath.
yeah, it's my
If you're
understanding.
changing the plumbing structure, yes.
Yeah, then you've got.
Same way as walls, if you're moving walls, yes.
It was my understanding that there was a fire in it, in that building, and it needed a complete redo. Now, I don't know if you needed any, I wouldn't think you would need a permit to redo something that's been destroyed. But,
If you got to do like.
well, I don't know if they're doing electric, he never said anything about that.
Well, we live right across from it. We don't know of any fire, and it was sold by the Palmers. They were the previous owners.
Yeah.
And we saw the pictures online, Realtor, and didn't look like there was any.
Yeah, he could be pulling a lot of people's legs too, because he said that, didn't he say something to you about, living in the RV? He said he was gonna live in the RV and.
Well, the county ordinance says, that campers or recreational travel trailers are, not allowed to be dwellings. If they can only be dwellings if they're in an
So
RV. So
my thing is,
that's section 22.5.
he's been coming up with a lot of excuses. Maybe we should light a fire under.
We'll look into it, see what we can do. With Bob,
Yeah, we understand he's going through a hardship, but he's been given some grace.
Is there a permit cool for that interim time limit, and that permit gonna use for 7 months?
7 months.
Yeah, unless you get an extension.
Well, but he hasn't pulled any permits.
I thought at one time he had went to that house.
He did come down here, and I think he did get a permit from Riley. if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
at one time, I think, but again, there is a time limit on those permits, and I haven't noticed one up there for a while.
We'll check it out. You sign it?
Just my usual beef about 50, St. Paul Street. I mean, the grass, it's my understanding, a letter was sent to them. I didn't know how it was sent, but it was sent certified, so they couldn't say,
We always certify.
oh, okay. Because, I mean, I didn't want it sent.
Last week.
Is that the one with the messed up wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just everything's messed up. I live right next door in the little brick. At 56.
Yeah, I read about it one day while I was about the resident. I just happened to look up. At least one of the windows upstairs was wide open. Nobody around. And I thought, look, it's big rain, they're gonna be in trouble.
They typically leave a lot of it open.
We'll check that out too. And if it's been past a certain time, we'll extend the bill.
You mow it and then send them a bill?
At a certain time.
It doesn't get right.
It doesn't get corrected in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, I mean,
From
it's,
the time we send the
instructions
letter.
are, I mean, it's just a mess, and I can't imagine what critters might be running around.
We've done that many times. If they don't go to the break, you give them a certain amount of time, and it states that in the letter. We've not allowed it, we've dealt with it.
Yeah, I talked to Rick one day, and, I guess I told him, but, he said he did ride by and something, that the grass was too high, and something got trash, whatever he, whatever official thing he said about the trash.
Maybe they had trash sitting out for it.
No, this is in the yard,
Oh,
it's
in the yard.
construction stuff.
Yeah, please do. And the sidewalks, that grass and stuff, growing up through it, it's really not the best to walk by there.
Yeah, no, nobody walks, everybody walks down the street.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should, instead of constantly sending stuff, maybe we should start buying them or go ahead and mow the grass and charge them.
That's been, it's instructed that in the letter, ever so many days, if they don't pay, they accumulate a fine, and a certain amount of time we will know it, go on top of the fine.
How many complaints has this, how many times has it done?
Oh, every time to get it mowed, we have to call somebody down here,
Then they get a
To get it.
letter, and then they know.
then they mow it, yeah. I mean, they wouldn't mow anything beside my grass or anything like that. And there's tall, something tall along where they put, that, concrete pad. That never gets mowed. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
That's the back.
Yeah, it's
I
from
thought
the
that
back.
was like a deer feeder. On it,
I never saw this pad, I've heard about it, but I knew they said the footers didn't pass for that, and they would make them dig back.
That's the word on the street.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Jamerson told me that.
Oh, okay. Because we must have similar sources.
Yeah. But yeah, those people, they've come to planning meetings. The developer was in months ago and said they would have the house completely renovated and on the market by spring. But they didn't make it. And I really don't see any signs that they're gonna make it.
No,
Hello, folks, Mars office.
Thank you very much for your time.
Do we know when the letter was sent to them and what the date might be?
It was sent last week sometime. We give them 10 days to know. So I don't think it's been 10 days yet.
Okay.
Keep us posted.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I don't feel like,
the last time I asked Riley and it was done, I sent her a little text back. They've moved.
don't feel like you're bothering us. That's what we need to do. We need to.
Okay.
communicate.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, yeah, thank you so much.
Sometimes I
Take
feel
care.
like we're the only ones down here.
No, you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Treasurer's report, June 2023, it was tabled from July 10th meeting.
Yeah, I just forwarded to you guys. Our emails aren't working, so I just now got it from Brian. I'm just gonna go through it real quick. I'll give you a more detailed report next month too for both, but the general fund ended up with a balance of $2,048,807.83. The water fund ended up with a balance of $467,265.37. And the sewer fund ended up with a balance of $118,411.05. As far as the CDs are concerned, they're all town CDs that we have at the moment. And our current CD balance is $2,232,888.04. Our other accounts, we have our restricted funds, the money market out at Middletown Valley Bank has a current balance of $2,776,332.50. The American Rescue Plan funds has a current balance of $3,085,487.20. And the water department has a user fees money market account with a current balance of $185,940.08. And the sewer fund has a money market account with a balance of $100,866.17. And that is everything that we have to date. But like I said, I'll go through it in more detail next month with the other for July as well.
And then as far as for June closing, I have the Washington County vehicle fuel bill is still outstanding. We haven't received that. And I know that we have not received May and June's hotel motel yet.
Okay.
As far as your email, you're gonna have to download the Gmail app. And
I gave them all Tanner's phone number,
Is
so
it-
he
is it
said that.
Gmail or Outlook? I thought somebody said Outlook.
Well, it depends on
Okay.
what phone. Howard has an Android phone.
and
My phone updated, fine. It's getting my desktop.
because he's Tanner downloaded mine. Okay. He happened to be here when I came in. All right. Tanner will walk you through it.
And Kevin gave everybody the phone number, so we'll chat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions of Tony? So you're gonna give, do I have a motion to accept what Tony gave us?
Sure, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstain?
I'll
Motion
abstain.
carried.
They see it. Yeah.
Is Terry on, Kevin?
No.
Okay.
Who was my second? Was that you, Ricky, or was,
Yeah,
okay, that's what I thought.
And Mary Lee was abstaining.
Yes.
Town manager's report. Jared?
Yeah, just, I mean, from the last time we were in this meeting, I kind of updated you on a lot of more major things. The one thing I did want to update you guys on was, today, Mayor and I met with Senator Corbin, Mary, about some of these funding issues that we have kind of come into recently. And the loss of funding for some of these major projects, including Reservoir. So, we are on his radar. He had a couple of ideas for us on top of the other ideas that we've gotten from some other representatives and Roger. So I've already reached out to a few of these sources to try to see what we can do as far as funding is concerned for the reservoir and some of these other water projects that we have. We also sent a letter to the governor's office requesting some help with funding, hopefully this year, but if not, at least getting us into next year's budget. Because they're already in talks about that now, believe it or not. So I think we're on, at least we're in people's minds. We're in our representatives' minds. We're hopefully the governor's gotten our letter by now. I know at least his, one of the staff persons, I can't remember who it was, but they did email me back, when they got the letter.
Paul?
It was Molly, yes, yeah, Molly. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of, I know, the last, when we talked, the Utilities Commission meeting, we kind of talked about, our funding for the reservoir, since the plans are kind of moving along quickly with that, but, you know, we're in a good spot, I think, to at least attempt to go after some of that funding. Unfortunately, that's the only update I have for that. I don't have any specifics as of yet, other than just saying we have a plan that we're trying to proceed, see what we can get. And I will update everyone when I actually do, here's something specific that.
Do you have any questions of Jared?
Yeah, Jared, did you follow up with that $1 million that you had to submit that Roger was talking about earlier in the week, at the end of last week?
I can't remember what that was. What was that?
It was funds that he went after. It was, I know it was $1 million. There was an email that you had to apply for online. And I thought, sure, he said that he had a conversation with you and maybe with Howard at the same time. I don't remember who all was in the meeting. But it's the $1 million he applied for.
Yeah.
Paul was supposed to submit it, but I don't think got submitted.
So it was some paperwork that had to be filled out. I did fill that out.
Okay, and that's strictly for water. So that's something that's in our pocket. It's coming, but as long as we apply for it, I'm not sure how soon that's going to be coming along. And then the other thing, because I did reach out to Roger when I heard the fact that he lost his funding. And he's supposed to be getting us organized for Mako, because we're gonna be doing the speed dating again. I don't like that atmosphere, but we're gonna do what we have to do and try to knock some people around and just not knock them around, but just make our presence known and address this issue. Right now, we were also advised by Pete Shoemaker that the reservoir has started leaking more. We're losing another 4% each quarter, and more than likely, it's the reservoir. So it's getting to be a real critical situation.
And Senator Corin is aware of that too. And also he's aware that we did not get to 5 million, and he's gonna also check in and see what he can get the state to help us out with that too. And he's gonna make some phone calls to some people that he knows with the federal government too.
It's starting to get a little concerned. And then just the last part of that then, from the VMUC meeting with WRA, when they went over our drawings, we touched on Crestview. Because the high pressure problem over at Crestview, we have to run that parallel line. And what WRA stated in their presentation at the BMUC is that the new reservoir is going to increase the pressure because it's further back on the property. So anyway, we have to do these two jobs in conjunction. So what we thought was going to be one project, get that paid for and done, and then move on to the parallel line around Crestview, they're going to have to be done simultaneously. They've got to be finished at the same time because we can't increase the pressure in Crestview. It can't. It just has to be fixed. So we're really going to be looking for money.
You know, I was thinking about, I know you guys are on top of it, but the juggling act that we're gonna face in the future with when these grants running out that we already got, when you say, oh, money runs out, are we gonna be able to use it all quick enough?
Do we need to look for bridge funding options? You know what I mean?
I probably wouldn't turn away from it, but I don't want to do a bridge funding that's going to cost us money. I don't want to be interest free. I mean, that's a horrible thing.
Also, though, if it doesn't cost you more than 4% leakage, you know what I mean?
I know.
Things like that.
I'm not saying that we
Too,
won't
you gotta
entertain it,
do
yeah,
something
so
for
maybe we need to
user
get hold
funding
of.
before,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well, you can,
Residents run out.
you can run a pressure reducer valve up there. Once you get the new tanks in up there, you can run a pressure reducer valve in there, pinch valve that would conduct. What are you? Well,
License happened.
no. No, thank you. So you can put a pinch valve in there to reduce the amount of, flow and pressure. So that really is not really.
It's nothing to do with the reservoir, Ricky. It's to do with the pressure coming up. It's pumping from Keysville over, past that main. That's where the problem is. We don't have the problem up there.
Oh, I thought you meant
No.
from there down. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
There you go. Same thing.
So.
But we're, looks like the ball's getting starting to roll, so hopefully the state listens to us and helps us out. So, thank you, Jerry. Police department.
All good at my home.
Yeah, but what about the town?
As far as I know, the town's good. I might have some problems on Saturday or Sunday, but we'll deal with them as they come. Everybody I've talked to got solutions after the fact, but no one has solutions to stop the fact. So we just have to let the fact happen and we'll deal with it what we do.
So what's the facts that's gonna happen?
Well, Sean Porter's supposed to come down and burn a flag and burn some books, which would be Sean Porter. But that all started because people across the way posted something on Facebook about him, and he didn't like it. So.
You know, that is cheap. I don't know what, he said somebody from the Gibson Boonesboro.
Yes.
That's what started it. That's what started, and it just snowballed, and like I said, he beat my head, of course, he hid behind the First Amendment rights. I've got a call in the state's attorney, everybody I've talked to has got what we can do after the fact, like I said. So if they would just keep quiet,
Yeah.
the problem would go away.
The fire marshal can't, so he can do what he needs to do.
Yeah, I mean,
You can't do anything until you start.
yeah, there's nothing, I mean, there's nothing can be done until after.
So
And then,
once
of
he
course, we can
starts
turn
the
it-
fire, then you can do something.
Well, if
with
he
it.
starts a fire, we can put the fire out, and if there's any damage to the concrete, we can charge him with malicious destruction of property. EP, the health department said because he started a fire within 70 feet of an occupied dwelling, they could charge him with contamination of the air. Well, that's after, you know, and it doesn't stop the problem. So my weekend off, so if you spend down the shore, you can spend up here babysitting him.
Sorry.
Can we go in your place?
Sure.
I think he meant to go to the shore.
You don't have to take it, you have to do the honeydew list, if he leaves for me.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
I just wanted to make sure you did what he was saying, Chief, because I think.
Oh, I understood.
And by the way, he's not planning on burning the American flag.
No, he's burning the game.
What time is it supposed to start?
No, he has
We have no idea.
Oh, you don't even know what?
We reached out to him to try to narrow it down. All his reply was, yeah. That's what we got.
When you curl up and they have them shred the. See,
That would be, I mean, that would tickle me to death with the skill.
shred the books, shred the flag, and then we won't have.
We won't have to breathe the smoke and turn out one from down. But anyway, that's anything that goes on for us, everything else.
Do you have any questions with Chief? Thank you.
If anybody here or see anything posted on
Oh, yeah.
social media, like,
Oh, yeah.
but I got a lot of friends are, and they're constantly calling. I mean, you hear anybody that,
What prompted the response from the bookstore?
I don't know. What's over that?
Because
It
it goes
was,
all back to Dan's, I mean.
yeah, that's all it's been. It's been, if you get on the Boonesboro page or the other Boonesboro page, that's all you see. One individual talking about dance. And somebody made a comment about let it lay.
No, I wasn't very patient.
Yes,
Yes,
and somebody we know that
I don't know who it was. One person.
it might be on the EDC.
Well, the thing is, they got what they wanted. They should be happy. They should let it. You know, they should, yeah, I'm just saying, they got what they wanted. They should let it go. Everybody just needs to move on.
He's not that type.
Yeah, and, yeah, I think during the talk about the, you know, they got what they want to dance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sean's not.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything right. Sean Porter. I don't know if he is either, but I saw him Friday standing in front of him.
Yeah, apparently he thought his president was going to cause a bunch of trouble. We never got a call.
Well, first of all, it wasn't anybody on the streets Friday afternoon. It's too hot. Nobody wants to go out and walk.
So anyway, that's it for us.
Sounds good, John. New business, status of national resolution. Sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, not too much to update since the last time. I believe the council meeting, I updated everyone about the meeting that we may or not had a great, well, basically, we just requested a plan from them. They had met that week, which would have been the last 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. It was last week, yeah. Basically, we requested a plan from them to give us a detailed list of exactly what they would need to have completed before they could officially open. And this doesn't mean a full-time opening, it could just be a part-time opening, but something showing we have everything, everyone that we need, we have staff, we have the exhibits that we need. All we need is X, Y, and Z fixed. They're taken care of. We can open at least, 2 days a week, whatever it may be. So we requested that. Dick said he would get that back to us. He did get back to me later on that week and said we met, and I do have a plan in the works. He just has not submitted it yet, but I'm sure it's going to take a few days to do that, so. So once we get that, basically I'll know what they really need. I know kind of we've gotten some a few lists of different things that are needed, but then when Greg and I and the mayor met with them about some of that list really, they didn't, including the bathrooms. Greg kind of went down with that. They don't need all that. It's like the refrigerator problem. So the list is really going to be a lot easier to tackle than they thought. And then we also have some funding that they can use from the side, things like that, they can use it if they can. So there are a bunch of things we can help them with to get open, as long as if we go through with these things, they actually open. So that's what I'm trying to get at. I want something in writing, a plan from them showing, yes, these things will open already. And then so really, I'm just waiting to hear back from Dick, to be honest. And once we hear back from him, we meet again about their plan and proceed from there.
Didn't really do a big one.
No, not really. I mean, I kind of told him, sooner rather than. So I did, so I'll give him a week. I'll reach back. But one thing, I mean, I also did reach out to some medicine today about their issues they were having with that. We did get a random email today from Tom Medicine, or from Dick.
From Dick, yeah.
About credit, we have received from them.
But no explanation.
Yeah, there was, I think that was.
The road museum received the credit from Tom Edison, but down in the next, did you read the whole about this? Down in the bottom.
It said something like rebuild.
They rebuilt them for the same amount that they gave.
So we're not really sure. They're not really sure what it is.
So I reached back out to Tom Edison to ask that question as well as some other questions. About the project, see if they come up.
That was a very nice article they did in the paper about. It was. What makes us look like bad landlords? What? Maybe you need to reread it, but I want to know why this article came out after the fact that she didn't even tell us when Tiffany was here that she had an interview, because there's no way this happened in between that Monday meeting and Sunday's paper coming out. Our paper's not that quick. I just don't think that it's fair the way that the museum is handling this. They're being unprofessional. They only ever come in here when they need something, but they're not partnered with us. So you're right, Jared, they need a plan. They need to present that plan, but before they come in here again and tell us that we didn't do this and we didn't do that, and they can't help because of things that we're deficient in, they need to read their lease, which I did, and they need to stop putting articles like this in the paper to make us sound like we're, what do you want to call it?
Slumlords.
Yeah, slumlords, thank you. So I don't appreciate this article at all.
Well, I will say, I did not read that. I will say, but I will say, I did talk to them kind of directly about, this was after the meeting, of demands and things like that. And basically what we told them was, look, we understand that you feel like you need certain things to open. But when I ran through the list with them, like I just said, it really was not a big deal. And there are things we would easily help them with. I told them, you guys just need to communicate this better. And you know, that'll come through me, and I will do that. But I have no problem working with them as we have in the past. So I think if they can give us a detailed list, like I said, exactly what they need, I don't think it'll be all that difficult for us to have. They will get it if they can open with that list, and I say, let's help them out.
Some of the plumbing problems that they said they had, they don't have. That's great, found that out.
We told them us back, didn't send us back that response. I did a walk around of both buildings on Saturday. I mean, of course I couldn't go in them, but exterior wise, I mean, it's only small items on the outside that needs to be addressed. But again, there's something that's one of those wild trees or weeds or something that's growing up underneath of the trolley museum. You got to help yourself a little bit. You got to help yourself a little bit. Now, if they would ask us to go down there and do something, we would. But don't come in here and not have your lease in front of you, know what you're responsible for, and demand that we do something that we're not even obligated to do. But even Mayor Lee just sat here and said to me that we have hotel, motel funds, other restricted funds, we're willing to help them. But they need to come in here and present a punch list and let us go through it with them and do it the right way. Don't shame the town. I'm sorry, that was not right.
Well, that's what we requested, so that's what they told us they're gonna go through. So,
And they're gonna go through Jared.
And if the roof was damaged by a storm, that was in that article. That's the first time I heard that roof was storm damaged.
They never even said anything.
It's in the article. So
You
there's
mentioned
there's
the,
an insurance claim that never got filed. We own the building, we have insurance,
They didn't say anything.
but it's in that article.
They did mention the awning, and some damage to the awning, which I don't know if that's. Now,
That might have been with storm roofs, you're right.
that's something I told them we could help them with. That's.
And we gave them money, what, 2 years ago for the roof?
Yeah, I think we have a good plan moving forward, and I'll, when they come up with their punch list and they're basically, when I can figure out how and when they can open, and make an actual detailed plan about that, I'll bring it to the council.
That was good to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'll send it.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably have some things that, to be good landlord, we should do, they'll probably have some other dismissals that he got.
Okay, status of Chase 6 Maple Avenue, Campus Avenue intersection. State Highway, Valley Relief made some suggestions and sent them back to Draper's engineer. I checked with Jim Draper. He said, yes, we have received them and we are in the process of making the changes. And also reminded him that, remember, the longer you hold that up, the longer it is before you can start your development. He understands that. So he's got to get that back to the state. State, if they accept it, brings it back to us, and then we can sit down with the county attorney and their attorney and get the MOU drawn up and get this ball rolling so we can get everything signed and get bids and get started. So that's status of Chase 6. It's in Draper's hand again. Project update, meeting with Soul Conservation, Louis Press. Pete and I met with Soul Conservation and the company that's doing the work for Louis Press. You're looking at between 6 to 10 months. It will be up and running. All permits are available right now that we need for them to get started. So we're in the process of getting everything lined up to get the ball rolling with the Louis Press. It's wonderful. So once that gets rolling, we'll start saving money. Got a question?
Yeah, how's that gonna affect our sewer budget? Because I think we kind of
cut it in
projected it
half,
being
so
online
it's-
sooner for sludge.
It's probably going to be close. Yeah, it's probably going to be real close.
Okay. That's all I have tonight. Does anybody else have anything?
I got a couple things. Somehow we missed the reappointment of Dave Wade on the VNUC.
We can't do that until August's meeting. So I got it up on the August meeting.
Okay. The other thing is, I did want to mention, I'm sure y'all probably heard, but Ray Huffman, longtime resident, had served on the VNUC for I don't know how many years.
He's also a council member.
I was gonna say, I didn't remember that, but I think somebody told me that. Of course, Ray passed. I believe his service was today.
Today at 10:30, yeah.
Yeah,
Even
so-
though it was yesterday, 2 to 4.
I don't know if we normally do anything. Did we do anything? Are we gonna send a card? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I didn't know that his stuff was yesterday and today.
Okay.
You're just in the paper, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was late.
So we
I
can,
don't know, you can't.
No.
We can send something to the
We can
house.
send a planner to the house.
Did we have a request for donations to anyone?
Yeah, thank you.
St. Jude's.
Okay.
Do we want to make a contribution like out of our donation fund to? in his behalf,
Sure.
or, You know, what I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
instead of maybe
yeah.
flowers or something?
Mhm.
Well, another thing that's been discussed, Terry Davis said something to me, I think I said something to her. We didn't really officially bring it up anywhere yet. But Ray was rather instrumental in this Duluth press and keeping that at the forefront, and he always was looking for money, the whole deal. We talked about this having some sort of a plaque on the Duluth press. When it gets up,
That's a nice thing to do,
his
yeah.
memory, his honor, something. Be nice if we do something like that and maybe have his family down there or something. Sure, that's gonna be, what did we just say, 6 to 10 months?
Right, right.
But,
But it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and get the plaque ready. Is that a motion?
I'll make that motion. Or do we want to bring it up with the utilities first?
Bring it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk.
Anyone in front of the crowd?
He fought.
I understand
A long time ago.
the value of what they're doing, but where it's gonna go, yeah.
I think there's somehow knowing Ray probably like
I was gonna say that, but I think he might like a tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm thinking maybe a tree planted in his honor too.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up.
But let's do it at the
Dark
beginning.
Maybe we can put a tree in the
DRC,
crap
bring it
plant.
back to
I don't know.
Do you want to make a donation? Or should I send flowers?
You wanna wait and see what the meeting-
Let's bring it to the BMUC. We'll give them some options, and see what their thoughts are. And then we'll bring it back to the council.
We can still put that on the agenda for August meeting for the council. We can do that anyhow, and then DMUC can make a suggestion for the plaque or whatever
Okay.
tree.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah, okay. Let me see. So, okay, so, Lauren Norris, our newest member, attended a couple of meetings as a member and didn't get any pay.
Well, I did send Kim an email.
Okay, I don't know if you saw
I'll
that.
have to look at the Utilities Commission minutes because that's what I go off of.
Yeah, I double checked with Stu. He happened to call me today and I asked him, he said it was 2 meetings that he was an
Okay.
active member. So I just want to make sure that gets addressed.
Those are probably the 2 meeting minutes that I didn't have.
Okay, okay. And then I think that there's a couple of members on the BMUC that need their name cards, name placards made.
I'll also send her an email about that.
Okay, okay. All right. Under new business still. Loose chickens on the move and number of chickens that are allowed. So there's I don't know the house number, but it's Kevin Chambers' old house. Whoever the newest owner is. They have at least 5 chickens.
The Thompson Quarter.
No, on the
I
corner.
thought it was across the street from Kevin Chambers.
I thought it was
There's
too.
chicken
There's-
here at Thompson Court.
It's on the corner of Kearns and David, Kevin Chambers' old house, whatever that number is.
It sounds like somebody needs to get some cats.
There's at least 5 chickens that are roaming free now,
They're only allowed 3.
and they're not supposed to be loose. And then I understand, and you might have something on this, but
And they had to have a permit.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say, they get the permit.
yeah, I don't know, do you want to check on that?
What's the house number again?
I don't know. It's Kevin Chambers' old house. It's on the corner of Kearns and David. Right
It's
across
where,
from
it's where that,
Shoemaker.
it's where that guy died, Kevin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
He was out, he was an alcoholic,
Yeah,
he drank.
Yeah.
That's not Kevin Chambers.
Yeah,
Yes,
it is. Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
I thought Kevin's was
No,
the other side.
no.
Right, this was right
And
beside
then-
the curves.
Right across the street on Thompson's Court, the first house on the left.
Yeah,
They
Okay.
let, they
Yeah,
got
okay.
the register.
that's what I thought had chickens.
Yeah.
They
They
do.
do.
They do.
They do
They had them out on Kearns Drive, but they've now moved them back behind, on the other side of the house that's on Thompson's Court.
Where it's like that drainage ditch.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And I understood that maybe the lady on Della and Kearns, one of her dogs got
Oh,
loose. It
that's
was,
like-
okay. And I heard there was enough sheriff's office people down there to lock up half of Boonesboro. I don't know.
When that,
I don't know.
Sunday. Was it yesterday or
No, it
Saturday?
wasn't yesterday.
Saturday.
It wasn't this past weekend. I think it was.
There was a boatload of sheriffs went by, was it Saturday? Some FedEx driver and somebody was, I have nuts.
All I'm saying is these chickens need to get under control. They're not supposed to be roaming free, and there's a limit of 3,
And they need a
roosters.
permit.
and they need a permit. So
They did get rid of the rooster.
well, I heard that too. I'll stop there.
Yeah.
What a corrupt bunch.
It's craziness, all it is, it's craziness.
It's sad.
That ordinance never should have been.
Oh, yeah, it's high water pressure.
We go,
Chickens.
the, Ashland, Darlington, is it Kearns and David? That's who lives in that house.
What's the number?
Hang on a second. She's in crackers.
No, the house.
Jiminy
I'm
Crickets.
working on it.
While he's looking, just a reminder about Char Heights National Night
Oh,
Out
it
at
is
the
not.
park.
It is
5:30.
not.
Please come.
I'm gonna be there at 5 o'clock. I can't
You
wait.
can get there early, yeah.
I love being down there.
Unfortunately, it doesn't show me an address, it just shows me who owns it.
All right.
Anyway,
Kevin knows who we are.
Ashland, Darlington, it's who just said there this, at that one. And then the one across the thing,
One there where Ethan used to
yeah,
live.
we're even used to that. Those folks' names are Javier Lorenzo Stita.
That would be correct.
And I'll, maybe I'll give you the address for that. Yeah, that's 19 Thompson Court.
19 Thompson.
Yeah,
They also have chickens.
yeah, they also were doing.
They've received a letter. They did get rid of the rooster. I don't know where they cut the number down.
No, we're chicken farmers in
They
Derek.
rent a pen at one
Yeah,
time.
they ran
Yeah.
But they had them over on this side, they were in it. I don't know what's back there because I can't see.
Yeah.
They had about 8.
Our new town
Maybe
planner
they
is gonna
don't-
have
Maybe they thought it was 2 or 3 per person in that.
Well, they probably did. It's
So
probably-
each person had 3
Yes.
That's all I have.
Anybody else got anything?
Well, on the bright side, yesterday in the paper, this article about our Born Learning Trail.
Oh, yeah, they did.
And I didn't realize that was, there's only 2 in the state. We have one.
One, yeah,
So hats off to the town.
yeah.
and Park.
That was a good article,
That
right?
was, yeah.
That was a good article.
Yeah.
Okey-doke. We need to have an executive session as provided under general provision, Articles 3-305B8. 4, to consider a matter that concerns the proposal for a business or industrial organization to locate, expand, or remain in the state.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same, motion carries. Kim, you can stay here.
So you got to show